The safety, honor and welfare of your country comes first. Your own ease and comfort will come last.
You are charged with Indian Army Act Section 41, waging war against the king.
Fire! रात दिन अपने सीने विच वजदी आजादी दे राग नू बंद कर ला। सब तो पहला मैं हिंदुस्तानी हाँ।
Hello and welcome to Political Theatre. India is the largest democracy in the world, and twists and turns in the world of Indian politics attract everyone's attention. Several political events take place simultaneously across the country every day, and it becomes difficult for the people to keep a track of these events and understand their implications. In the next half an hour, we'll bring you the top political events of this week and decode and analyze them for you. So let's begin with the big story of the week. West Bengal's North 24 Parganas district was marred by communal violence this week following an objectionable Facebook post. This unfortunate incident once again spilled over into a full-blown political controversy between the state's ruling party and the opposition. This also led to an unprecedented face-off between the state chief minister Mamata Banerjee and the governor K. Srinath Tripathi.
Violence erupted between two communities at Baduria in Bashirhat subdivision of North 24 Parganas district on Monday night over an objectionable Facebook post. The mob put up road blockades at several places, attacked members of another community and destroyed many shops. 4 companies of BSF's South Bengal frontier rushed to Baduria and adjoining areas of Bashirhat, Swarupnagar and Deganga to assist the local administration in controlling the situation. While the situation in the area remained tense, the usual blame game began between the ruling party of the state TMC and BJP, which heads the central government. Both sides accused each other of politicizing the issue. Other opposition parties too joined the chorus with BJP.
আমরা বারবার লক্ষ্য করছি রাজভবন উস্কানি দিয়ে সেই সমস্ত লোককে সাহায্য করছেন যাদের কতিপয় লোক বিভিন্ন জায়গায় সাম্প্রদায়িক দাঙ্গা করবার চেষ্টা করছেন ক্ষমতা লাভের জন্য।
हमारे मुख्यमंत्री जी हमेशा बीजेपी को ये सब में दोषी ठहराने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। बड़ा अजीब लगता है कि ये बंगाल उनसे चलाया नहीं जा रहा है, तो वो क्यों ना वो मान ले।
The state government has been unable to control the situation. That is why it is necessary for the army to be deployed. First step should be to see that the violence is ended and peaceful life is restored. The situation is alarming because we have seen in West Bengal, because of the communal politics which is now prevailing, where both the Trinamool Congress and the BJP are creating polarization.
আমাদের উদ্দেশ্য সেখানে কোনো উত্তেজনা তৈরি করা নয়, আমাদের উদ্দেশ্য সেখান থেকে কোনো রাজনৈতিক ফায়দা তোলা নয়। আমাদের একটাই উদ্দেশ্য, একটাই বক্তব্য যে দাঙ্গা নয়, শান্তি চাই।
This incident also led to the unprecedented spat between the chief minister of the state and the governor. While the CM accused the governor of action on behalf of BJP, the latter said he cannot remain a mute spectator to the events of the state.
উনি আমাকে থ্রেট করেছেন আজকে, নিশ্চয়ই আমার ফোনে ফোন করে আমাকে থ্রেট করেছেন। উনি আমাকে ল এন্ড অর্ডার দেখাচ্ছেন। উনি কেন একটা পক্ষ নেবেন, দুটো পক্ষ নিতে পারেন না? কেন নেবেন? আজকে যে কোনো একটা ছোট্ট ঘটনা ঘটলে বিজেপির লোকেরা গিয়ে ওনাকে একটা কাগজ দিয়ে আসলে উনি একদম যা ইচ্ছে তাই বলে বেড়ান।
I want कि peace should be restored, law and order should be restored, and I am happy that steps are being taken in that direction.
Several politicians on their way to the tense areas in North 24 Parganas were stopped by the state administration, leading to another round of allegations and counter-allegations. While the BJP has set up a committee to visit and submit a report, the state government has refused the assistance of 400 paramilitary personnel sent by the centre, saying that state police is well equipped to handle the situation.
For more on this story, we have with us today senior journalist Mr. Gautam Lahiri. Gautam ji, there have been previous incidents of disagreements between the chief minister and the governor in a particular state. This is not the first time it's happening, which has happened in West Bengal. But this time around, the situation seems to have gone one step further. Is there a sort of a coming back from this heightened confrontation which is there between the governor and the chief minister? Because the opposition also seems to be pretty well prepared to raise this issue. There have been notices given for the forthcoming parliament session for a discussion on the role of governor.
Yeah, that's true. But in West Bengal, so far for the last 3 years, there was not much very problem so far functioning of the government is concerned with the chief minister and the governor. Suddenly, it become it worsened. I think when after this communal tension, which is broken up in parts of Bengal, and Bengal has become the headlines for all the news media for all wrong reasons. But governor, actually there is a debate going on whether how much, there is a larger issue involved I think, whether how much and what governor can do and should do. Well, in the past governor had issued statement expressing his concern, that is all right. But here there was a case that governor, as per the media report says, the governor picked up the phone and telephoned chief minister to do something or advised him in a way which Mamata Banerjee didn't take it in a very, she thought perhaps it is not proper for a governor to call her. Actually, governor doesn't call. So I don't know, must be situation worsened, that's why he was compelled to call her. But he should have written to the government of India, to the Home Ministry, to the President of India. Normally, constitutional function, it doesn't function like that.
Should have followed the set protocol which is there.
There is a protocol mentioned in the by our all Sarkaria Commission, Punchi Commissions, how the governor role is codified almost. So they should follow that norm. So unnecessary, but later on, I must add that the good sense prevailed. Ultimately, governor came out with a statement that West Bengal government is taking steps. Now I am happy. Okay. So ultimately, it ended well.
So things seems to have fallen in place. One very important issue which have also arisen from this unfortunate incident of communal violence in North 24 Parganas district is the heightened political push and pull between the ruling party in West Bengal and the ruling party at the centre. Now, the ruling party at the centre is trying to gain a foothold in West Bengal, all of us know. Yeah. And in this particular situation, politically, it seems neither of them are willing to take a step back. So, will that harm the state's interest in the longer run?
No, if neither of them pull back, then obviously the interest of the state would harm. But I think for the last couple of days, situation has come quite normal. And because as a political observer, I would say there is a politics behind it. BJP, whether you may agree or disagree, they have a certain ideology. And Trinamool Congress has also certain ideology which is definitely opposed to BJP. Now, in West Bengal, political scenario is that local Congress party and the left parties have not been able to tackle Mamata Banerjee's TMC. Now, BJP has suddenly come into the picture. Even you see the last few bypoll results, where left votes had reduced to a level that first time the left front has lost the security deposit. And all the vote transferred to BJP. So apparently there is a sense that perhaps BJP is going to be the main opposition party in Bengal, which will happen or not, that the future will tell. Obviously BJP is now trying to give so much they are spending energy in the Bengal because they know that they had only few seats, couple of seats they could win. This time they are trying hard to get much more seats.
So this might end up being a very important political event in the state of West Bengal. We'll take a short break here, but when we come back, we will give you the details of the ongoing process of elections to the post of President and Vice President of India, as well as an analytical sum up of the first week of the new tax regime, that is GST. Stay tuned. Welcome back. After missing the July 1st date with GST, the state of Jammu and Kashmir finally implemented the new tax regime this week. Meanwhile, protests continued by some sections of the business community in several parts of the country, and opposition also tried to corner the government, terming the implementation of GST as a hasty decision.
After 2 days of hectic discussions, Jammu and Kashmir Assembly adopted a resolution for implementing the GST, becoming the last state to adopt the new tax regime. The resolution was adopted by a voice vote, even as the state opposition, including the National Conference, protested against implementing the new indirect tax regime in the state in its present form. This also led to an uproar in the assembly.
GST जो है लागू हुआ है, इससे आम आदमी को, कंज्यूमर को, हमारा ट्रेडर को, हमारा व्यापारी को, बाकी जो लोग हैं इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट को जो है फायदा होगा और इंडस्ट्रीज के जो कुछ जो है शक शोबे थे का नुकसान होगा उसकी भरपाई भी केंद्र करेगा।
मेरा आज भी मानना है ये सबसे ज्यादा बड़ा धोखा है फेडरल पॉलिटी के साथ।
Congress party, which skipped the launch event in Parliament last week, criticized the multiple tax slabs under GST regime and sought inclusion of petroleum products in GST's ambit. Party Vice President Rahul Gandhi also took to Twitter, calling the government insensitive for imposing tax on disability aids.
It is a mockery of GST. When we have rates like 0.25, 3, 5, 12, 18, 28 and 40, and possibly more because of the discretion vested with the state governments, how can we call this a one nation, one tax regime? The Congress party will watch out the role of GST closely. We will continue to articulate the fears and grievances of small and medium businesses, multi-state businesses and consumers.
Protests were held by business community in many states against the GST regime. Traders in Patna, Kolkata and Indore staged protests against the GST Council's move to impose an 18% tax on the synthetic textile sector. Textile merchants in Gujarat threatened to prolong their ongoing agitation against GST implementation, demanding exemption for the textile industry for at least 1 year to understand and implement the new rules. Over 1,000 cinema halls and multiplex owners across Tamil Nadu went on an indefinite strike against an additional 30% tax over and above the newly implemented GST.
करीब 10 करोड़ लोग इस देश में कपड़ा उद्योग से जुड़े हुए हैं, जो कि 80% उसमें से अशिक्षित हैं, जो कि कंप्यूटर का न तो ज्ञान रखते हैं न उनके आदत में है। इस कारण से हम चाहते हैं कि कपड़े पे जो टैक्स है वो यहाँ में भी बढ़ा दिया जाए और कपड़े को इससे मुक्त रखा जाए।
हिंदुस्तान की 85 लाख व्यापारी और उद्योगपतियों को गुलाम बनाने के लिए किया है।
The government launched a sustained campaign to clear the misconceptions related to GST, with several senior officers taking to Twitter to dispel rumors regarding the new tax regime.
इसका योग्य उस राज्य को मिलता है जिसमें अंत में जाकर सामान बिकता है। ये डेस्टिनेशन टैक्स है, जो अंतिम यात्रा उस सामान की होती है, उस राज्य को इसका लाभ मिलता है। जो पैदावार करता है उसको नहीं मिलता।
While industry experts and business leaders have hailed the decision, which brings India's $2 trillion economy into a common market, eliminating multi-layer tax system, the road ahead remains very challenging for the centre in terms of infrastructure, trained manpower and short-term inflationary pressures.
Our political analyst Gautam Lahiri is still with us. Gautam ji, this particular new regime was much talked about, much awaited. It has been 1 week now, and there have been certainly some, teething troubles in the first week, and the government has tried to go ahead and iron them out. There were several statements which have come in from the senior officials, from the ministers. Everybody is active on the social media platform, trying to, give information. But as far as the opposition is concerned, it seems to be in a catch-22 situation here. They supported the legislation, specifically the Congress also, saying that it was our move inside the parliament. But now that it has been implemented, they're not so forthcoming about supporting it. They are, finding faults, picking holes in the entire situation here.
Well, if you see look at the history of any changes of this kind, whenever any government has done or initiated, initially there was opposition. Whether when Rajiv Gandhi tried to introduce computers, there was an opposition. And I must say, even when the VAT was introduced, there was a strong opposition from many quarters, not only many political parties also. In fact, the ruling party, a section of ruling party also opposed the GST at one point of time. But ultimately, everybody has come to a point that everybody, in principle, all the political parties think this is a good for the country. Now, the difference is about the implementation, how to implement it. Whether government has given enough time for implementation or not, that's a debate going on. That's why people are objecting to it. Well, opposition party has role to oppose whatever government does. Obviously, they will do that. But at the end of it, whether people is liking it or not, whether people are getting benefit out of it or not, because there are reports that some prices have come down. Well, some luxury items, the prices of luxury items would gone up. Definitely. But initially, for the first 7 days, I would say it has gone well, though there is some teething problem here and there. Even
and the political pull and push will continue.
Political pull and push will continue. People, opposition political party will raise that question about the implementation part, not on the concept of GST.
Okay.
So, in a sense that I think that government has done a good thing, that GST is ultimately good for the country. That message has gone.
So, it seems it will take some more time for the entire GST regime to settle down. Let's now take a look at another story. With the issuance of notification on 4th of July, the stage is all set for the vice presidential poll. While both sides, that is the government and the opposition, are yet to announce their candidates for the post of vice president, their nominees for the topmost post in the country, that is the President of India, are crisscrossing the country to try and garner the support of the members of Electoral College.
The process for the election of the 13th Vice President of the country began with the Election Commission issuing notification on 4th July. Polling, if required, will take place on the 5th of August and the counting will also take place on the same evening. Unlike the presidential polls where MPs and MLAs elect the President, the Vice President is elected by only the members of the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha through a secret ballot. Members nominated to the Parliament also vote to elect the Vice President. Election of the Vice President comprises of a total of 790 members of the Electoral College, out of which 233 elected and 12 nominated members belong to the Rajya Sabha and 543 elected and 2 members of the Lok Sabha. A candidate needs 20 electors as proposers and at least another 20 electors as seconders for his nomination.
The nomination papers can be filed up to 3 p.m. on 18th of July and thereafter on 19th in the morning at 11 o'clock. The scrutiny of the nomination papers will take place, and those whose nomination papers which are found valid after the scrutiny, those candidates, they can withdraw their names from the fray till 21st of July by 3 p.m. And if there are more than one candidate left after that, then there will be election.
The term of present incumbent Mohammad Hamid Ansari, who has held the post for 2 consecutive terms, will end on August 10th. Neither the ruling NDA nor the opposition has so far announced their respective candidates for the post of Vice President, but the opposition leaders will meet on July 11th to discuss their candidate. However, with majority in the Lok Sabha and support of regional parties, the NDA will find it easy to place its candidate as the next Vice President.
जरूर उम्मीदवार उतारेंगे और मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि तमाम विपक्षी दल आम सहमति से, जिस तरह से राष्ट्रपति कैंडिडेट के लिए एक आम सहमति से कैंडिडेट बना, इसी तरह से आम सहमति से उपराष्ट्रपति का भी कैंडिडेट बनेगा.
Meanwhile, presidential candidates Ramnath Kovind and Meera Kumar are on a nationwide tour to gather support of MLAs and MPs ahead of their election. Kovind met MPs and MLAs in Telangana and Karnataka, promising that the office of the president was above party politics and he would strive to uphold the constitution. He also gained support of 6 Trinamool Congress MLAs of Tripura who have decided to support Kovind's candidature. Addressing a press conference in Guwahati, Meera Kumar appealed to all legislators across India to support her candidature in the ideological war.
I can assure you that I will continue to keep the position of President, our party also. Even as on today, I am not associated with any political party.
This presidential election is going to be a powerful articulation of the value system, the principles so dear by most of the people of this country.
In the presidential election scheduled for July 17th, NDA candidate Ramnath Kovind, the former governor of Bihar, will face off against Meera Kumar, the former Lok Sabha speaker nominated by a group of 17 opposition parties led by the Congress.
Let's take a view from our political analyst today, Gautam Lahiri. Gautam ji, this seems to be a very interesting situation as far as presidential and vice presidential polls are concerned. The notification is now issued for both the top posts, polling to the both of top posts. Nominees are already crisscrossing the country as far as presidential election is concerned, but for the post of vice president, both sides are yet to announce their names. The opposition says it will have a meeting on 11th. Numbers doesn't seem to be favoring opposition once again. So is there going to be a contest this time around, or this will be just a sort of a symbolic contest which the opposition will enter into?
I think so. What you have said, I think there will be a symbolic contest as it is happening in the case of president election, because opposition is saying there is it's not about a mere contest of numbers, it is a contest of ideologies. So definitely government has a clear number, they will have their own nominee. Nobody knows. Always in this case, in the case of this government, there is a surprise element. Nobody can predict anybody's name.
So you're not taking any guesses for the
I'm
post
not taking any guesses. Even media couldn't guess about Mr. Kovind's name as a presidential candidate, which was a surprise indeed. Now it might be another surprise in this election too. Well, there are few names are in the circulation. I don't know whether any of them would be a candidate, but they are all good candidates, no doubt. But from the opposition point of view, most important challenge is to keep the opposition flock together.
To stay united.
To which they have failed for the presidential polls. So now it is job of the opposition, mainly to the, I would say the protagonist is the Congress party. They should keep their flocks together. They are getting indication that perhaps the JDU, which has supported presidential candidate of the NDA, might support an opposition candidate. So it is not clear, still it is uncertain. Opposition has not called any meeting so far.
So they will be meeting on 11. So let's see what happens in that particular meeting and who all supports the entire opposition candidate, whosoever his name is being announced by the opposition camp. Let's take a short break here, but when we come back, we will tell you what else happened in the political arena across the nation and some interesting comments made by the political leaders throughout this week. Welcome back. From CBI raids on RJD chief Lalu Prasad Yadav and his family members to the appointment of new chief election commissioner. Let's take a look at what else made news in the political arena this week in Political Buzz.
The CBI has registered a case against former Railways Minister and RJD chief Lalu Prasad Yadav, his wife and sons in connection with irregularities in tenders for the maintenance of hotels in Ranchi and Puri in 2006. Lalu was Railways Minister in 2006. CBI also conducted searches at 12 locations in Delhi, Patna, Ranchi, Puri and Gurugram. Benami assets worth 300 crore rupees of NCP leader Chhagan Bhujbal and his family have been attached by the Income Tax Department. The department has slapped charges under the newly enacted criminal law against them. The IT has identified a total of 44 shell companies which invested funds in 2 of the 3 firms identified as Benami in the order. Achal Kumar Jyoti became the 21st Chief Election Commissioner of India. He took over as the head of the Election Commission after Naseem Zaidi demitted office this week. 64-year-old Jyoti was the Chief Secretary of Gujarat when Prime Minister Narendra Modi was the Chief Minister. All parties in Darjeeling Hills have decided to continue with the indefinite shutdown. The internet service remains suspended in Darjeeling as the hill town is witnessing an indefinite strike since the 15th of June. Police and security forces patrolled the streets and kept a tight vigil at the entry and exit routes. Meanwhile, Gorkha Janmukti Morcha has once again requested the central government to conduct a dialogue over a separate state.
Several political situations led to interesting comments by political leaders in a bid to counter each other's claims. We have shortlisted the best ones for you in Face Off.
In the last 45 days, 120 Chinese incursions. That's almost the rate of 3 a day. And if you take the whole year of 2017, which is less than half over, 2017, these incursions have been 240, which is much more than one per day. Unfortunately, it appears this government has been caught napping and has not been able to implement significant accords of recent vintage, of recent origin, forget the old ones, which the UPA government entered into.
With patience, we all have to handle the issues. There are issues that require greater attention by all the concerned countries and leaders. That will be done.
The government or the party has no role in it. Let me make it very clear. Instead of facing the charges and answering the charges, making political allegation against the government and the BJP has become a fashion.
About 3 years back, they recommended 3 names. The Chief Minister recommended 3 names to the Government of India through the administrator, and the names were approved. Then what is the now? What made the Government of India now to nominate 3 people on its own without consulting the Chief Minister or Council of Ministers?
If you don't give them the time frame and they come to the Lieutenant Governor and say, we have not given any time frame, I asked them, is this an opportune time for you to take the oath? You check, you confirm to me. They said, yes. I said, come to my chamber. I can administer the oath. Matter over.
मुसलमानों के तबाही और बर्बादी के कानून बाजारों, चौराहों या मैदानों में नहीं बनते. मुसलमानों के तबाही और बर्बादी के कानून ऐवानों में बनते हैं.
The party strongly condemns MIM MLA Akbaruddin's statements, which are not just irrelevant, they are poisonous, they are communal.
Apart from public rallies, protest marches and television studios, political leaders were also busy taking a dig at each other and making their point on the social media platforms. Let's take a look at what all transpired in the virtual world of Indian politics.
Responding to Congress's statement against the Prime Minister that nothing concrete has come out of his 65 foreign visits in 3 years, the BJP on its official Twitter page said that Narendra Modi has covered more countries and spent fewer days than former PM Manmohan Singh during UPA 2. Congress also put out newspaper reports highlighting the outcome of PM's visits and the expense incurred on the tours. Staying with the issue of Modi's foreign trips, Rahul Gandhi called the Prime Minister weak for accepting the US referring to Kashmir as Indian-administered Kashmir and for not bringing up the contentious H-1B visa issue. Congress's official Twitter page called the Modi-Trump meet a great photo op, but where important issues were bypassed. As Jammu and Kashmir passed the GST resolution, BJP leaders took to social media to announce that the One Nation, One Tax regime will provide beneficial to the state. Opposition leader Omar Abdullah, however, slammed the resolution, calling it a sham, saying there was absolutely no clarity on constitutional safeguards for the state.
So this was the summary of twists and turns in the world of Indian politics this week. We'll be back again next week with some more interesting information and analysis. Till then, we'll leave you with these visuals of the week. Keep watching Rajya Sabha Television.
Historic day. Welcome, my friend. It's wonderful to see you here in Israel.